Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun, the regular host, and today on the program, Tremor in the National Assembly has APC lawmakers defect to PDP. And later in the show, Oshiomhole threatens to expel President Buhari's minister, that is Ngige Serika, from APC. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Olayinka Oyegbile, and Wahid Bakare. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Well, unending drama has become one of the hallmarks of our democracy. When Nigerians were poised for a showdown between the police and Senate President Bukola Saraki over fresh summon to the number 3 citizen in connection with the offer robbery incident, the unexpected happened. While armed policemen laid siege on Saraki's residence in Abuja, apparently to effect his appearance, at the force headquarters, he took a decoy and headed for the Senate. The resulting plenary saw the defection of 15 senators from the APC. The viral fever of defection also spread to the House of Representatives, that is where 33 APC lawmakers defected to the PDP. Prior to this personal show, President Muhammadu Buhari had met with some of the aggrieved chieftains in a move to prevent the defection. Let us take you back to some meeting of Monday with the Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso.
Accompanied by Governor Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is visiting the State House amid speculations on its possible defection from the governing party. Senator Kwankwaso met President Muhammadu Buhari alongside the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, behind closed doors for over 1 hour. Speaking to NTA News after the meeting, also attended by the governors of Zamfara, Kebbi, Borno and Ogun states, Senator Kwankwaso described it as fruitful.
We thank God that my friends, my former colleagues, governors, of course, came to me and we had some discussions with them. And now we had an opportunity to see President. And we had some useful discussions. That's all.
So you're remaining in the APC?
No, let's wait and see. A lot has to be done, really, to decide on what to do.
Like what?
No, keep on talking. You have to. Politics is a game of, discussion, agreement, disagreement, all sorts of things, and we're still on it.
For the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso remains a critical stakeholder of the governing APC.
I think the issues he had are basically between him and his brother. I can almost call him his twin brother in the sense that the two of them had worked together for about 16 years. What the president has offered to do as a father is to remind the children that it's a family house that they need to, but Kwankwaso knows that he has no problem whatsoever. He has never had any problem whatsoever with Mr. President. So I think it was a good meeting, very good meeting. It's not about trade at all. He's a very prominent member of APC. He has never made a statement suggesting that he's thinking of leaving the APC. He helped him found the APC. He was a governor when he found the APC. He didn't come to APC because he was unemployed. APC didn't make him. He helped to make APC. And for people like Kwankwaso who have honor and integrity and dignity, they can't see themselves returning to a place they consciously left. So I have a lot of respect for him, and Kwankwaso has a lot of respect for Mr. President, which he has always reaffirmed, whether in private conversation or in public conversation. And I think we just leave it at that. It's well. It's well, nothing to worry about.
Senator Kwankwaso, now representing Kano Central in the National Assembly, was a 2-term governor of Kano State as well as an APC presidential aspirant in the last general elections.
We actually got that report from the Nigerian Television Authority, so we're giving the credit for that report to them. And as I'm talking to you today, former governor Godswill Akpabio is the majority leader in the Senate, and Senator Ahmed Lawal, that used to be the majority leader, is now the minority leader, going by what happened, on the floor of the Senate today. Babajide, wow.
Yes, it's what we had expected. I believe that the APC could have stopped this from happening or mitigated the effect of what has happened if someone like Oshomole had come in early. As I said yesterday, yes, they would succeed in stopping some people from moving. But it appeared, just as I said yesterday, the exact words I used was largely the train had left the station. And
I
that's
remember
what
that
we are
was,
saying, yes.
that the train had left the station.
Because I knew that the defection would still happen, at the scale at which it has happened today. There are some people that you would have expected to see amongst those 15 that are not there. And it's because of the engagement that Oshomole and his team had been doing for some time.
Let's talk about Kwakwanso. His name was on that list.
Yes, and you see, the president recognized the powers of Kwankwaso as a politician, his influence, especially in northern Nigeria. Kwankwasia is already a movement.
Movement all over.
I
Southwest,
remember when he visited the Emir of Daura, that was the hometown of the president. The crowd was large, and the supporters were singing that Daga Daura say Madobi. That means from Daura, it is Madobi, which is the local government of Kwankwaso. So the president made a strong last-minute effort to stop him from defecting, because the party is stronger without him and weaker. I mean, the party is stronger with him and weaker without him, no doubt about it. And you saw what Oshomole said about him, that look, APC didn't make Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso joined others in making the APC.
That's instructive.
Yes, he recognized the strengths of this man. But unfortunately, he had made up his mind. And look, it is true that he has nothing against the president. His problem is with Ganduje. And Kwankwaso, as I've said before, is someone who does not forgive. He's very similar to Olusegun Obasanjo and similar even to the president. So all that is after is to ensure that Ganduje does not get a second term. He is prepared to sacrifice anything and everything to ensure that Ganduje does not get a second term. This is why.
To achieve what?
This is just to have his own back.
That I made you, and I can.
Just to be able to have one back against the Kano State governor. So these are the issues. But I believe now that, yes, the PDP has a slim majority now in the Senate, but the party, in my view, should move on. The battle line is drawn now. You know who your enemies are. Although I can't bet that a few more people, when they resume, will still not defect.
September 25th.
That's a possibility, and there are some governors who will still defect.
So long vacation.
At least 3 governors will still defect. That's a certainty. And maybe 2 more governors after the 3 will go. The party is still in a strong position, no doubt about it. I like the press statement that Bolaji issued today. I don't always agree with him. I don't always agree with his methods.
That is if Bolaji is fully still with APC.
But Bolaji, no, of course, today, you have no reason to doubt where he is. Okay. He's in the APC. It's a thing of pride to be the spokesman of the ruling party. So I don't think he will want to sacrifice that for anything, except it is clear that some people want to push him out. I'm sure he's happy where he is under the able leadership of Oshomole. So,
you are not looking at the possibility of if his godfather should leave.
It's not in all cases that people live with their godfathers. He is not the archetypal politician. The archetypal politician, once this godfather moves, he moves with him. But if you know Bolaji very well, he's not the archetypal politician. He's just like a technocrat in government. That was how he came into Kwara as from a journalist.
I hope I can believe that.
Became commissioner for
Education?
science and tech at that time, So it's not it's just like saying Fashola is an archetypal politician.
No, it's not.
You look at Fashola, yes, he's been governor for 8 years. He doesn't still have the traits of the average politician. That's a fact. So I think he's happy where he is. I think until I'm proven wrong, I think he's happy where he is. And under Oshomole's leadership, I believe that it can get better for him. Both of them are good communicators. Oshomole is actually even doing that job, combining with that of chairman of the party. And as Bolaji said, the APC is still very strong, still controls 25 states, has overwhelming majority in the House of Reps. So there's still something for them. But they need to work hard to ensure that things do not degenerate beyond this point.
Effects of what happened today, because for a long time, when you look at the National Assembly, the 8th Assembly, they've not always acted as if the APC had the majority. So what just happened today was just a formal declaration. Some people will say that.
Of course, I will agree with those who are saying that anyway, because what happened today is a tale foretold. We are all expected that it will happen. It's just that we are not too sure of the time it will happen. But if you read most of the newspaper, it had been predicted that this week, between Tuesday today and Thursday, there will be mass defection. And it's not surprising that it has happened. Now, if you look at it, like you rightly said, they are always in conflict. You keep wondering, why is it that the National Assembly that has APC in the majority is always in conflict with the executive? We have had cases whereby names of nominees will be forwarded to them. You see that they feel reluctant to
the leader of the opposition, the then leader of the opposition, that's Godswill Akpabio, hardly even
of course
opposes,
but you see that it's the APC that are always in the forefront of this agitation. And people have been asking, why is this so? And if you also recall how the leaders emerged, you won't be surprised, because the party actually, wanted certain people to be in certain position among the principal officers. But those who are faster, they did a fast one on them, and they made sure that their own people emerge. And a lot of people blame Buhari then that it was not right for the president to have folded his arm and said that he was ready to work with just anybody that emerged under the pretense that that's how a Democrat should work. But you also there's no way you can say you are not going to show interest in the leadership of the people that are likely to give you problem. What can be more embarrassing that for the president, to forward a particular name twice? I'm talking about EFCC chairman now, and surprisingly, DSS, which is also an arm of the presidency, came up with 2 different reports on the same man, signed by the same person, and nobody is asking any question. So what is happening has always been there. There is no that unity of purpose that we expect to see from a party that has the majority. So what has just happened today has been predicted, and nobody can say it has ended. As time goes on, it's likely that more people will defect. And like Jide rightly said, it's almost certain that at least 3 governors, no fewer than 3 governors, are going to leave. Whether more will join is not what we can say for now.
Let's look at the Saraki angle. Yesterday, 8 p.m., a letter was extended to him that he must report to the police 8 a.m. this morning. And before you say Jack Robinson, the police laid siege, in his quarters and the depths of the Deputy Senate President. And, it was established that, Saraki just found his way somehow into the National Assembly, and this happened. But immediately that invitation letter came yesterday, there was a press statement from Saraki himself, is that this invitation is to halt what was going to happen today.
Well, You see, in this game now, Saraki seems to be the master. He dictates the pace. And it is very surprising that if you look at it, the presidency should have more people thinking for it than the Senate president, because the first constituency of the Senate president are members of the Senate. First is constituency in Kwara, second is constituency as the Senate president. But the constituency of the presidency is all over the federation. So they should have more people thinking for them and
Gathering intelligence.
gathering intelligence. How did you lay siege to the house of the Senate president
After you've invited him.
after you have invited him, and how did he get a whiff? Because there is no way anyone can convince us or convince me that Saraki did not have foreknowledge of what was going to happen. It was the same thing that happened at how he emerged as the Senate president. I can bet on it that Saraki did not sleep in the house yesterday. I mean, in where they laid siege to. He must have slept somewhere else. How did he get the information, or how did he move to the National Assembly that they were laying siege to an empty apartment? There must be. Look, give it to him. Saraki has beaten them hands down several times. And if I were to be in their shoes, it's either we give up or we think of better strategies. Who are the people thinking for the presidency? Why is this man beating them to it? I mean, it is embarrassing. 8 o'clock, sent an invitation to him that he must appear at the police headquarters, Zappe at so time. And early this morning, you are locking the stable when the horse has already bolted out. That's exact. In fact, if I were to be a member of the cabinet or the inner think tank, if there's any for the presidency, I'll feel thoroughly ashamed. And the PPRO issued a statement to say that what the pictures that you and I have seen online are pictures of Saraki's convoy blocking his gate, staging that he was, they were after him. I mean, how could that have been? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I'm totally embarrassed on their behalf. And to think that
this Saraki angle is, yesterday I felt agitated when I saw that after weeks of a kind of lull in the investigation into the offer robbery, that this is coming now, and I felt uncomfortable. But what we have today. So after extending the invitation, why must you lay siege in his house?
The police is already used to fumbling. The police is used to embarrassing itself. This is what has happened. I don't think that we can blame the presidency for what has happened. Even if the presidency gave the directive, it is up to the police to do it the right way.
Which is unlikely.
And they didn't do it the right way, because there is no point. They are saying that, Saraki must have probably staged this, that the vehicles that we saw were
escort vehicles.
It's a lie from the pit of hell. Streets, adjoining streets to Saraki's home were also full, busting at the seams with policemen
And DSS.
and the DSS and their vehicles. Because as journalists, we went to the scene. And this was what people saw. So it's not about just those few people. The picture that you see here, there is a better picture where you see far more vehicles and policemen inside them. There are videos. And then the streets, if it was his convoy that did all this, how come the adjoining streets, we also had so many policemen, including elite policemen? So what is the point? what was it meant to achieve? Because this is embarrassing to the government. People out there, as much as they respect our president for integrity and all that, I don't think the international community will enjoy seeing this kind of thing. Because it will send the message that, oh, the president is, or this administration is trying to undermine democracy, undermine the office of the Senate president, this and that. Even if we want to put Saraki on trial, or want to interrogate him, I don't think it makes sense to go to his house that early. And we have not seen any sign. Number three man, there is nowhere he can hide in this country.
At all.
And he cannot run away from the country and go and live outside of Nigeria. No. So he will still have to face. It's not the first time that Saraki will face the police. Remember, he came to Lagos here to face the police over, I think, a murder case in Ikwara or so at that time, and he has to face the special fraud unit here in Lagos some years back. At that time, he was not even Senate president. So how much more now that he has more powers? So this man will still have faced the police. This embarrassment by the police has to stop, because at the end of the day, it makes this whole thing at the end of the day, it makes it look really embarrassing, look ridiculous.
Very, very.
They should not be making Saraki unnecessarily popular. And then if you continue along this line, Saraki will be happy to play the role of the victim.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the bigger matter of him having to defend himself effectively over the robbery matter is still there. As I said before, I am not saying that Saraki has anything to do with the robbery. But if you are invited by the police, you have to go and defend yourself. But they should have waited for him to turn himself in. You don't go there that early to lay siege.
First caller on the line, Wally is calling from Lagos. Oh, Wally waited and waited. Oh, Wally, we're sorry. Please try and call back.
You don't have to go there so early in the day to lay siege when the time for him to go to that police station had not expired. So this is another embarrassment. The IG has questions to answer. The president should be asking the IG questions, because I'm not convinced that what they have done in this case is right. And they can't defend the fact that they did this.
In all this, where is Bukola Saraki? He did not defect. His name wasn't among the defectors. And is this a kind of strategy? Because when it comes to strategy, he has won my mind personally as somebody I really admire when it comes to political strategy.
You know that there is this saying that is the biggest masquerade that will come out of the groove last. Maybe that's what that's the strategy you want to employ. But I think he also needs to be careful, you know, considering the sensitive position he has and some other political intrigues surrounding him. You know, I won't expect him to just come out immediately and said, I've defected. You know, he will take his time.
Dogara has not defected.
Dogara has not defected. But you need to understand the fact that virtually most of his supporters, you know, they have left for PDP. We can, from that, I think it is safe to conclude that it's just a matter of time for him to decide. And he made it clear when he went to Ilorin last week that, you know, at the right time, I will inform my people where I'm going to.
Not that I'm not leaving.
No. He has not ruled out that possibility. It's almost certain that he's going to leave. You know, because whether for right reason or for wrong reason.
And his man, Kau Baraji, had already said, thank you, PDP, for welcoming us back.
He's aggrieved. You know, whether for genuine reason or not, the fact remains that he's aggrieved. You know, but in politics, it is always about the more the merrier. So I think by now, the APC should be worried. Because I saw a statement credited to Sheo Mole, whereby he said, well, they are mercenaries. It's like they were going back to where they came from. But you don't have to forget the fact that you also profited from the same thing. We had a situation whereby about 37 lawmakers from the House of Reps defected, and 5 governors. And that's in a way boosted the chance of APC. And whether we want to agree or not, the kind of cult-like followership that the president enjoyed at that time has reduced in a way. So you can't say you are not worried. I think they should look for a way, they should still find a way, because you can't look at the possibility that those who have defected today can still go back.
Supporters.
You know, they can still go back. And they have their supporters.
Okay,
You know,
I have another caller. Super is calling us from Lagos.
Good evening, my dear gentlemen in the studio.
Good evening, Super.
And I want to appreciate Babajide all the time. I love you, my brother. God bless you. And the rest of the crew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, to my own little contribution, I think the people around the president is not helping him at all. They are the ones that are just misleading him. I mean, look at the IG, look at the DSS, DGDSS. It's unfair for them to go and lay a siege. This man has defeated them the first time, and now he's going to defeat them again. I think somebody needs to call all the people around the presidency to order so that they have to know what they are advising him. Thank you very much. I have you.
Thanks.
All right, I'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we are looking at defection, the game of defection in the National Assembly. Olayinka, when you want to, the gain of People's Democratic Party,
Yes.
how will that boost the party chances in the next election? Now we know that PDP is waxing stronger now, and apart from what is happening in the National Assembly, will that rub off its chances across the country?
Honestly, if it continues like this, I believe very strongly that it's going to positively affect the PDP, because you cannot continue to say that those who have joined you, they came from a discredited party, therefore they can go back to their vomit, as the chairman of the APC has said.
Or they are inconsequential.
Exactly. Now, it was the same kind of reaction in the PDP then that led to what has happened now. Now, as we have rightly observed, at that time, there was a great swell of opposition to the PDP because we never had any other party take over the reign of government at that time. The PDP has spent 16 years, and we have seen that, look, they have done their best. There's nothing we felt that they could do again that will make the place better. So, and in the mind and the psyche of an average Nigerian, either in the southwest or in the southeast, some part of southeast and the north, the Buhari myth has been so blown, perhaps we can even say overblown, that it was like, if the man became the president today, every problem of Nigeria will be solved.
I remember that famous write-up by Femi Adesina.
Exactly.
The body
now,
language.
the man has become the president. 3 years down the line, people have started wondering if this was the kind of change that we agreed that PDP blundered all the way through, especially the last 5 years or so of former President Jonathan. But if the man had blundered all this while this way, and we gave you an opportunity, we thought it was going to be a drastic change. But what do they have? You know, there have been so many things happening now that people sit down and wonder and say, if it were to be under PDP or under Jonathan, was it as worse as this? Was it as bad as this? So,
some were even
now,
saying, bring back our corruption.
Exactly, that now we have it so tough that people are beginning to wonder that did we really make the right decision?
I have Martins. Martins is calling us from Bauchi State.
So people are wondering, did we exchange apple for orange, or what is the appropriate thing that you can compare it to. It has been so tough that the magic one that many people thought the APC will have, they were good in opposition. You give it to them. But now, in the corridors of power, we can see what is happening.
How did the All Progressive Congress get here, Babajide?
I think that if you look at what is happening, it is the governors of those states that will blame.
How?
This has little to do with the president. In states, in the APC states where you do not have rancor of any sort, nobody has defected. Nobody. APC states where the primaries went well, where the governors have no issue with their lawmakers, nobody has defected. But in states where governors have played God, where governors have made it clear to a lot of these lawmakers that, look, there's no future in the party for them. You can see what is happening. You can see what is happening. Who has defected from Katsina?
Even our Ogun.
Who has defected from Katsina?
Even Ogun, Lagos neighbor here.
Tejo has defected.
Ooh,
Who has
that's
defected?
another big one.
Who has defected from Lagos? Who has defected Tremor? No, these are, because these are APC states. It is the crisis. If Abdulaziz Murtala Yako defected in Adamawa, it's because of what transpired during the Congress. And we continue to talk about it. If Kwankwaso defected from Kano, we all know that it had to do with his quarrel with the sitting governor there. If, what's his name? If
what happened to Shehu Sani? Is his name there?
He's not. He's not.
I don't know. I said a while ago that they are engaging some of them.
Yeah.
There are many people who ought to have been there. Who would have been there? Let me not say who ought to. But because the leadership of the party has been talking to them, some of them are holding back. Some of them are holding back. Of course, Uncle is there. You know? So the thing is, what has exacerbated the situation? You all know from the beginning that the Bauchi governor and Dogara had not been at... yes. So people will leave. And largely what has happened is where a strong, like in Kano now, people who are fiercely loyal to Kwankwaso, as soon as he leaves, then the lawmakers loyal to him, who owe their progress and all that politically to him, they live with him.
Because we've not gotten the right figure now, but we hear that some people in the Kano State House of Assembly...
No. The thing is, the house, everything we are hearing about Kano is rumor. The house didn't sit today.
Okay.
The house will sit on Monday. Maybe on Monday, a few of them. Majority of the lawmakers in the Kano State House of Assembly are loyal to Ganduje. Remember, even when they wanted to effect a change in leadership, Ganduje intervened, and in the end, he resolved the dispute, so that you find that the current speaker retained his position, although some of the principal officers lost their positions or they were swapped here and there. So what I'm saying is the crisis within the states of these people who left, and the fact that some of the people who left, the people loyal to them felt a need to go with them. That's what happened with Kwara, for example. Saraki, wherever he goes, some lawmakers will go with him. But largely it is the crisis, that caused all this, because politics is about interest. A lot of these people want to return.
Yeah.
And they believe that under the present arrangement, these governors will not give them tickets. So that's why a lot of them just felt, look at someone like Kwankwaso, for example. What does he have in the state? Who is the delegate based on the last that he can point to that this is my delegate? Someone like Kunyako, who can he point to? Because even in Mayo Belwa, his hometown, he does not control even a ward secretary. So these are the things that led some of these people to want to go to another party where their interests will be best served. It's about their own interest. Everyone, politics about interest. A game is an interest-driven game. So they want to go to somewhere else where their interests will be best served. And the party had made moves. A lot of those disaggrieved members, the party has also reached out to some of them to promise them automatic tickets. So I won't be surprised. I was surprised if some of those people who originally had plans to move with Saraki remain in the party. So they must continue to engage. If they don't continue to engage, some of the people who are sitting on the fence may eventually also take the plunge. So it's unfortunate that that the leadership change in APC did not happen early, because you can see the energy that that Oshiomhole has brought to the leadership of the APC now. The changes are happening, but this one has come too soon for him. He has tried his best. He tried his best to keep Kwankwaso in the party, but Kwankwaso clearly had made up his mind even before he saw the president yesterday. So, and Saraki was supposed to see the president 2 days ago. He didn't go.
Sure.
So when he didn't go, you know that clearly he had made up his mind. So this is the situation.
So, moving forward now, what should the All Progressive Congress do? And what should the People's Democratic Party do? And a lot of people are piling pressure on the PDP. Now you change your name, Is that the next phase now?
For APC, I think there are 2 or 3 things they can do in the situation they have found themselves now. One, to either accept it in good faith, and move on. Secondly, they may want to approach the court to seek the interpretation of Section 68, bracket 1, bracket G, of the 9th Constitution, which talk about condition with which lawmakers can defect and still retain their seat.
Is that not spelled out?
No, it happened. It happened in 2012, whereby Abegunde, a lawmaker from Ondo State, won on the platform of Labour Party as a member of the State House of Assembly. But after a while, he defected to all, I think it was Action Congress of Nigeria then, and he was taken to court that on that basis, he has no moral justification and no justification under the law for him to remain as a member of the State House of Assembly. And he came with the excuse of there is division in my party. Based on that, I have the right to defect and still retain my seat, which was the constitutional provision anyway. But
is there no division within APC?
At the law court,
to sustain that?
at the law court, at the High Court and the Court of Appeal, he failed. He couldn't prove it that there was indeed division. So they may want to also exploit that option. For me, I always believe that we should, from time to time, try our laws, because if the laws are there on the shelf, and they just
because I think it's established that when there is division,
it's not there for the court to say whether there is division based on the fact that we now have reformed APC. Therefore, for PDP, they will see it as a big plus for them. More so when we are approaching the election year. I think they will go all the way out to make sure that those who are defected, they remain. Not only that, they want to bring in more people, because like I said earlier on, in politics, it's about number, it's about interest. So the more the merrier for them.
You can, as a custom on this, what is happening in the House of Representatives? I expected more people to go with the People's Democratic Party, but lo and behold, just I think 33 lawmakers. But not forgetting 37 lawmakers. Not forgetting that these people, there are 360 altogether.
Yeah.
And I was told that 2 went to ADP.
Yeah.
Is it ADP or ADC?
ADC.
Obasanjo's party.
1 went to ADC.
Well, whichever way you look at it, it is the majority of the APC is being eaten into already. So whether the best thing for them to do now is to find how to stem it. But whether they will be able to stem it is another matter. As someone said at another forum, maybe the APC chairman came in a little bit late. He has been engaging, moving about and talking to people, but whether that will succeed is another matter entirely. But as it is now, what happened to the PDP in 2014, 2015 is re-echoing and is happening now to the APC. But whether the APC profited from changing its name or from forming an entirely new party by accepting everyone from every angle. But whether that one will work for PDP is what we would sit down and watch.
Jide, on the final note?
Yeah, I think that both parties have their work cut out for them. APC, in my view, can still poach some powerful people within the PDP. I think that the party made a mistake by not working hard to get someone like Shekarau to his side. Shekarau has many friends in the APC, including the vice president who used to be his lawyer. So I thought that they would have made concerted efforts, knowing that Shekarau and Kwankwaso always find it difficult to work together. And after the PDP leadership cheated the likes of Shekarau, Adeniro, and the rest of them during the last convention, that was the time for the APC to move in and try to bring Shekarau to their side. But they didn't do that. So now Shekarau and Kwankwaso are on the same side. Whether they can work together is a different ballgame. But if they can get someone like that, which is not too late, if they can get someone like that, then it will be a master stroke in Kano.
Master stroke in Kano. Now, moving on now, the national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, that is APC, Adams Oshomole, is pursuing his new job with much gusto. Recently, the former Edo governor and Eastwell Labour leader is blowing hot over perceived indiscipline by government officials. After an engagement at the State House in Abuja on Monday, Oshomole threatened to expel Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, and Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Serika. His grouse with the ministers stemmed from their failure to inaugurate birds or parastatals under the ministries. How far can he go to carry out such threats? Let's hear the APC national chairman.
We must return to internal discipline. For me, it is the height of mischief for any minister. You cannot purport to be honorable minister and you act dishonorably. And it is absolutely illegal for a minister in a democracy to appropriate the powers of a board, because the laws establishing those institutions are clear, that the boards have procedures to follow. So when a minister sits in his office, appropriate the powers of the board in a democracy, not in a dictatorship, award contract that didn't go through boards, those are clearly abuse of office, for which they are liable. I am convinced that what they are doing is not with the endorsement of Mr. President. Over the period, they have tried to drop the president's name. But I tell them, it is the same authority that appoint these people. So we are informing them, it is either they comply with the president's instructions, or they comply with the party position, or they go and administer outside the government. I am clear about that. We are not going to wait. We have respect for ministers, but only to the extent that they recognize that they are a product of a political party. And we are not negotiating that. If they have done that in the past, under our leadership, we will not tolerate it. They either comply or we will expel them from the party. When we expel them, we will find out how the government can keep a rebel in the cabinet.
I was like, wow, yesterday when I listened to that soundbite, Adams Ali Oshomole, and I realized the fact that APC is just having, a kind of national chairman that knows his work and everything. But beyond knowing his work, Adams Oshomole, has he gone beyond his boundary for this statement, knowing that we are running a presidential system of government, threatening that I am going to sack a minister, I'm going to suspend a minister. When I suspend a minister, that the president expel a minister, and when he expelled the minister, that the president might be compelled to relieve the minister of his duty. Now, when you look at this, I thought in a presidential system of government, the president is like the alpha and omega. Is Adams Oshomole boxing above his weight?
I don't think he's boxing above his weight. We know that this president is characteristically slow. In most cases, too slow for my liking. And these people or these ministers are exploiting that. They're exploiting that. It is what should have been happening in this administration is what Oshomole is telling us. How can you say you are fighting corruption when a minister who on his own be awarding contracts without going through any board, without going through tender, is taking the decisions alone? So if it is stealing that he wants to do, he does the stealing alone. And don't forget that even through these boards, the people who work for the president who ensured that the APC won this election. It is through these boards and other perks that they can be rewarded. Other appointments, through these boards and other appointments. So there is no way we said the president didn't constitute board on time. Now he constituted board, and some minister will sit somewhere and refuse to inaugurate those boards because they want to make sure that they've awarded all the contracts before those boards come in. Look at the aviation sector, for example. If Oshomole fires Adisirika, it won't bother me because he's doing so many things and he's the one doing it alone. Even the senior minister of the transportation ministry, they don't talk. They don't see eye to eye. How many times have you seen Adisirika and Amechi? Although we know that both of them are similar in terms of their arrogance. But how many times have you seen them together?
It's not being supervised.
No. He refuses to be supervised. He refuses to subordinate himself to Amechi. Amechi has his problems. Because if you have a Magnus Abe, a quiet man like that, you can't manage him. Maybe it will be difficult for you to manage Adisirika. But that does not give Adisirika the license to not inaugurate the board of his ministry. And yet he's doing so many big things in that ministry. I mean, if we are talking about corporate governance, if we want corporate governance to take root in our country, these kind of things should not be happening. We complained when it happened in the oil sector. When we had the minister and people like Mekanti Baru would take decisions, the minister would not even be aware. We award contract without the knowledge of the minister, and people will come and speak English to us that there are no contracts because money is not involved. How are they not contracts? How are they not contracts? So this is the issue. The discipline that has to be brought to bear on the APC. We are seeing Oshomole trying to make sure that discipline happens. You know, I said it even I think the day before yesterday, that in the APC, the primacy of the party has to be underlined. The supremacy of the party has to be underlined. I didn't know that Oshomole will come and say the same thing. All these people, and sometimes look at even the finance minister. Imagine the finance minister complaining that NNPC refuses to remit what it should remit. And I heard her saying, the president will have to intervene. I think we need to talk, the president needs to intervene. That means there are already some people in this administration who are already behaving like principalities. So it will take, sometimes you need a dose of madness. Let Oshomole visit a dose of madness on some of these people. Maybe we will now see people do their job the appropriate way.
He went further to even say that some of them have disobeyed Mr. President in time past, that he is not the party.
He said if the president condones disrespect of his office, that he will not. That is an indictment. But it makes sense. But it makes sense for him to say it.
For me, I think he said more than necessary. By going ahead to have that aspect of his statement.
No, he was angry. When you are angry, this kind of thing.
As a leader, you have to tell his anger. Because we are talking of somebody who was governor for 8 years, who is at present the national chairman of the ruling party, coming out to tell Nigeria that in a way that the president is weak. He doesn't need that. he can say whatever he wants to say.
He said if.
I know.
Yeah.
The insinuation is
Mark his words. Mark his words.
I know, but the insinuation is
Look at the frustration. Look at it. Don't also forget, this is a government
know.
that wants to fight corruption.
I know, but I disagree that you have gone. You shouldn't have said that. There are some things you don't have to verbalize everything.
Yeah.
There are some things that you shouldn't say at all. You have given out the president as a very weak person who doesn't have control of members of the cabinet.
No, but he said they have been lying against the president.
That is not to say that.
They've been lying against him, dropping the president's name. You didn't hear that.
I heard. That is not to say that I'm in support of what is going on, because the president gave an order.
The other, but Chris Ngige also gave a defense.
I know. The president, that one is not an excuse.
No.
The fact that the previous board was enmeshed in alleged corruption does not mean that you cannot constitute a fresh board. Except you are telling us that it is the same people that you had on that board that they want to put there. Don't let's also forget the fact that $5 billion some of these board members are supposed to be members of the APC. It is the same APC member that complained to the president initially when he refused to constitute those boards, that the boards that were in place when Jonathan they are PDP members. Yes. And you know that in policy, if people work for you, they expect that you must compensate them. You know, a lot of them are complaining.
Well, you said by July 31.
You know, a lot of if the president gave the order on February 27, and he said by March 16, that was the deadline. And we are talking about over 4 months. Nothing has been done. It was right for him to have.
That's why Oshomole was angry.
To have, you know, released his pent-up emotion. But I disagree with the
I remember one of those boards is Frank Kokori is touted to head this particular board. Chief Kokori, and he has been.
Oshomole too used to be the chairman of this SCA.
Yes.
With what?
During Obasanjo's regime.
With what Oshomole has said, what it has as I deduce from that is that whatever it is, the buck stops at the president's table. Look, when we are talking today that Jonathan failed, this one failed, that one failed.
Is his name
it was not
mentioned?
Jonathan as a person.
Yes.
It was the people he appointed
around him
that he surrounded himself with that failed. But because it is the president that is the arrowhead, he is the one that failed. If tomorrow people complain now, how many people today, even if you talk of the education sector, remember that this person was the minister? If you want to talk under Jonathan now, it is the president that we want to talk about. So the president with this, if the chairman of his party can say this, I agree. Yeah, he said too much. But he said the truth. The truth which he should have said to the president, he came out to say it to the whole world. It is. I agree with you.
It works sometimes.
Yes, I agree with you that he's pent up anger and all that.
It works sometimes.
Now, the president and the people surrounding the president should sit down and think. This is why we are talking of a think tank. Who are the think tank of the presidency? Who are the people who sit with the president and talk to him and advise him? There must be some level of people who will look the president in the face, in the eyes, and tell him that, Mr. President, this is what you should do.
So that's why we have an Oshomole.
We are bringing back the days. They are bringing back the days of party supremacy, and the chairman seems to be very, very visible.
I'll go back to what I said after Oshomole's appointment. I said this man has been governor for 8 years.
Yes.
He cannot be afraid of any governor because he will see himself as their mate.
Yeah.
What is the money that you want to show to him that will rattle him? What kind of money do you want to show to him that will rattle him that he has not seen? He's been Labour leader. So this is not the kind of leader of the APC that some people will ride roughshod over. I said it at that time. I said, see, if any of them wants to misbehave, we'll tell him, look, you sit there. I'm in charge.
You know what he said about this direct primaries.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's already demonstrating. This is what I saw a long time ago. That under him, look, he's a different kind of national chairman that the APC will see. So the thing is, let him help us to get the president to do some of the things that he should do. I could have done the same thing that he did. I won't go into the president's closet to just talk to him. On some occasions, I will come out and say it, because that way it gets done. Now we are aware, thanks to Ngige now, that by July 31, they will constitute that board. What if Shomole had not done this? Ministers will be awarding contracts without going through the board. That in itself is corruption. And this is a government that is fighting corruption. So it has to stop. It has to stop. With Shomole, I thank you so much for this. Let these ministers go and sit down.
I want to thank you so much too, Olayinka Oyegbile. Thank you for being our guest on the show today. Wahid Bakare, thank you. And the master himself, Babajide Kolade Otoju. Thank you.
Thank you too.
As well. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/CBC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.